All right, let's talk about one of the biggest shifts happening in tech right now. You see, AI isn't just a passive tool anymore, something that just waits for you to type in a command. Nope, it's becoming an agent, something that can actually go out and pursue goals all on its own. And that leap forward comes with some incredibly powerful and frankly, pretty risky trade-offs. So let's dive in.
Okay, so first things first, what in the world is agentic AI? I mean, what are we really talking about here? It's not just about an AI that can answer your questions or write an email. We're talking about something way more advanced. An agentic AI can take a big, complex goal you give it, figure out the steps to achieve it, and then, and this is the key part, actually use different tools and apps to get it done, all by itself, with you barely having to lift a finger.
And look, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky sci-fi idea for the future. This is happening right now. All the big players, we're talking Google, GitHub, Accenture, they're all rolling out these massive platforms. They're building tools so businesses can create and manage their own AI agents for everything from managing data to writing code. This stuff is being plugged directly into the plumbing of the global economy as we speak.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for just a second. It's easy to get carried away with the hype, right? Andre Carpity, who's a total legend in the AI space, gives us a much-needed reality check. He's basically saying, hold on, these agents aren't really thinking yet. They're just incredibly good at mimicking patterns they've seen. His point is, we should be focusing on making tools that make us smarter and more creative, not just trying to build something that replaces us. And that right there, that's the core tension we're going to dig into.
So, to really get our heads around this, we're going to break it down into a few key battlegrounds. We'll look at the engine powering it all, the new cyber battlefield, the huge question of rules and safety, and finally, how this is all showing up in our everyday lives.
All right, first up, the engine. We're talking power versus price. Because you see, agentic AI is, well, it's just unbelievably hungry for computing power. And that hunger has kicked off this massive global arms race to build the infrastructure to feed it. It's creating this really fascinating tug of war between raw brute force power and the cold, hard reality of cost.
And when I say massive, I mean, just look at this number, $11 billion. That's what Amazon is spending on just one project in Indiana. It's their biggest investment there ever. We're talking about spending on the level of a small country. And it's not just them. The US government is building its own AI supercomputer called Solstice. The scale of this build-out it's just staggering.
So that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? If you're not Amazon or Google, how on earth do you compete? Do you just get left in the dust if you can't drop billions on data centers? Well, it turns out the answer isn't just build bigger stuff. There's another way. And this is where it gets really clever. It's a classic brute force versus smart hacks situation. On one side, yeah, you've got the giants just throwing money and hardware at the problem. But on the other side, you have these incredibly smart software tricks, things like compute pooling that can cut the number of expensive GPUs you need by a whopping 82%. Or check this out, compressing old information into what they're calling image tokens to save on memory. These are the clever workarounds, the smart hacks that are helping everyone else stay in the game.
Now let's shift gears and look at where this is getting really intense, cybersecurity. Because this field is being completely turned on its head. The new game is autonomy versus autonomy. It's not just about humans trying to stop hackers anymore. It's AI agents fighting other AI agents.
So the new defensive playbook is all about being proactive. You have to fight fire with fire. That means you deploy your AI agents to watch the perimeter 24/7, hunting for threats at speeds no human could ever match. And why? Because you better believe the attackers are using their AI agents to probe your defenses. It's gone so far that companies are now using AI to attack themselves. It's called red teaming, just to find the holes before the other guy's AI does.
And here's the scary part. This battlefield isn't some distant server farm. It's right here, on your own computer. Even your web browser is becoming a new front line. These new agentic browsers are super helpful. They can do things for you automatically. But that very same power creates a huge new risk. A hacker can hide a malicious command on a web page that tricks your browser agent into sending them your personal info. The thing that makes it so powerful is also what makes it so dangerous. You know, this constant back and forth, this arms race between attackers and defenders, it really points to a much bigger problem, doesn't it? It's this massive, widening gap between how fast the technology is moving and how slow we are at making rules for it. It's the ultimate showdown, speed versus safety.
In this chart, this tells a pretty wild story. A recent poll of tech leaders found that 91%, so pretty much everybody, is charging ahead with agentic AI. But less than half of them have any kind of formal rules or safety policies for it. Just let that sink in for a second. Almost everyone is building this stuff, but almost nobody has a rulebook. They're essentially building the plane while it's in the air. That is a massive risk.
And this, of course, leads to the million-dollar question. When one of these autonomous agents messes up, who's on the hook? Who's responsible? Is it the person who wrote the code? The company that used it? The legal world is scrambling to figure this out. You hear ideas floating around like shared liability, but let's be honest, we are miles away from having any real clear answers.
Okay, so let's bring this all back down to earth and talk about how this is showing up in our daily lives. This is where that tension between promise and peril really hits home. And we're going to start with something that affects every single one of us: healthcare.
Yeah, in healthcare, you really see these two dueling realities side by side. The promise is incredible, right? A doctor in your pocket, like Google dreams of, a market that's about to grow by 10 times. But then there's the peril. A recent study looked at how these AIs handle complex medical questions, in this case about menopause, and the results were not good. They were only accurate 25 to 40% of the time, and the advice they gave was so poorly written, patients couldn't even really understand it. That's not just unhelpful, that's potentially dangerous.
And this same push and pull is happening everywhere else in our consumer world. We're getting awesome new conveniences, like having AI built right into our TVs. We're seeing genuine creativity, like an AI that can stump a chess grandmaster with a new puzzle. But there are serious consequences. You have apps that are having to ban teenagers because of safety concerns. And we're starting to hear real warnings about the psychological risks of people, especially vulnerable people, having these super realistic conversations with chatbots. Convenience on one side, real concern on the other.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this: agentic AI isn't science fiction anymore. It's here, it's happening now, it's already changing everything from how we protect our data to how we think about our health. The technology is moving at an absolutely breakneck speed. But the rules, the safety nets, our basic understanding of what this all means, we're all struggling to keep up. And that leaves us with one last, really important question we have to ask ourselves. These AI agents, they're learning to think, to act, to create. So the real question is, what are we teaching them?